sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Sanctuary, sanctuary for you. Sanctuary, sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Sanctuary, sanctuary for you. Sanctuary, sanctuary for you. For you, oh Lord, for you, for you, oh Lord, for you. Open my eyes, illumine me. Open my eyes, illumine me. I just want to thank you for giving me this life. I just want to thank you for giving me this life.
Lord, prepare me.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Sanctuary for you.
Sanctuary for you.
Good morning. Welcome. Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Unity. I'm Dave Farrell, and I'll be your platform assistant this morning. Are there any prayer chaplains in the... So if you're looking... And so we welcome Heather Diddell this morning to the podium, or the... remember, there's meditation this morning at 10:15 in the garden room. The spring retreat is the last weekend in March. Sign-up sheets are in the foyer. Please do that by the middle of the month, by the middle of March. There's a concert tonight. Garland Nelson and A Joyful Noise will be here. Concert from 6:30 to 8. They're asking you to come at 6 for a little fellowship time. There is a donation of $10 to $20, but please don't let that deter you. Please come anyway. The annual meeting of this church is a week from today, following the second service. Please come. We'll be voting for board members and little business. All are invited. Please come, but only active members can vote. Rob Geyer is looking to offer again the play on Good Friday. He's looking for people that want to participate in that. There's a flyer in the bulletin about that, so please look at that and give that consideration. I saw it last year and it just blew me away. So, Peggy Kaufman, one of the board members, is going to go to Mexico in about a month to do some work with the people that are waiting for asylum. So they'll be talking with those folks. They'll be bringing them food. There's a fundraiser next Saturday to support that effort. There's a flyer in, again, the foyer that explains all that. So please attend that fundraiser if you're so moved to do that. We had a board meeting on Thursday night, and one of the things they talked about is please wear your name tags, which I did this morning. If you don't have one or would like one, you can sign up in the foyer, and we'll gladly give you one. So. And now the mission statement, please. So the mission of Unity Church in Albany is to awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all being through prayer and service. And the vision statement: we celebrate oneness with spirit and with the divine nature of all. So if you'd just like to sit quietly and kind of bring yourself into this space for a few minutes. Just a few words from Marianne Williamson. Again, nothing you think or wish or do makes it necessary to establish your worth. You are a child of God. You were created in a blinding flash of creativity, a primal thought when God extended himself in love. Love is chainless, changeless, and therefore so are you. Nothing that you ever done or will ever do can mar the perfection in the eyes of God. You are deserving in his eyes because of what you are, not because of what you do. What you do or don't do is not what determines your value. Your growth, perhaps, but not your value. That's why God is totally approving and accepting of you exactly as you are. What is not to like? You were not created in sin. You were created in love. Marianne Williamson. And the daily word for today. Let go, let God. I let God be God in me. Meister Eckhart, 14th century German mystic, taught all that God asks you most pressingly is to go out of yourself and let God be God in you. Reflecting on Eckhart's words, I remember that whenever I'm doing, I need never feel frustrated by the limits of human wisdom and understanding. Letting go and letting God reminds me that God's presence is with me throughout every experience of my life. God's love, life, wisdom, understanding, and strength are mine. Even my inner power of release works through me whenever I call upon it. My human self, together with the indwelling presence of God, the Christ in me, brings good in my life. And from the 14th chapter of John, the words that I say to you, I do not speak on my own, but the Father who dwells in me does his work. Thank you. Roger and company.
Okay, you can come up now. Good morning. Have you all met my friend Isabella over here? Please stand on.
This day is a witness to my sacred purpose, do all that I'm meant to be. This day is a witness to my sacred purpose, do all that I'm meant to be. Letting it in, letting it flow, letting it go where it will go, letting the power of your presence show the way. Letting it in, letting it know, I'm letting you lead that I might follow, being a witness to your presence every day. And this soul is a witness to my holy purpose, to all that I'm born to be. This soul is a witness to my holy purpose, to all that I'm born to be. Letting it in, letting it flow, letting it go where it will go, letting the power of your presence show the way. Letting it in, letting you know, I'm letting you lead that I might follow, being a witness to your presence every day. And this life is a witness to my rightful purpose, to all that I've come to be. This life is a witness to my rightful purpose, to all that I've come to be. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love for all my life. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love for all my life. For all my life. For all my life.
And welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Heather, Adele, come on up.
I will. As the musicians quietly stampede off the stage to a safe place. Gently stampede. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to all of you coming in via the magic of internet and YouTube. What a beautiful day. And how beautiful to see your baby. Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a special welcome for anybody who is here for the very first time. Is there anybody who fits that description who's willing to raise their hand and identify themselves? Welcome very much. We have a gift for you, and we invite you to come join us in Fellowship Hall downstairs afterwards, where we have some tea and coffee and good conversation. It would be wonderful to meet you. Thank you for coming. And thank you to the rest of you for showing up on this beautiful Sunday morning. We are a praying ministry, and what that means is, in the unity way of praying, we pray to align our hearts, minds, and souls with the will and the intelligence and the love of God. And we take prayers, any kind of prayer you may have, for something you're hoping for a sorrow, for a joy. And in our pews, we have these wonderful little slips called prayer request forms, and you can fill them out if there's something that is tugging on your heart in some way or is in your mind, and just put that into the collection bag as it goes by, and we'll collect those. And our prayer ministry at Unity will then pray over them for the month, and at the end of that month, they'll send them out to Unity Village in Missouri, where I've been told that their prayer ministry prays over them 24/7 for another month. And for everybody, make sure you come downstairs and join us for some coffee and tea and talk afterwards. Now it's time for a statement of oneness. Let's say this together. The power of Christ's love now releases me from any sense of separation from spirit or others. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe. That one is God, the good, omnipotence.
Okay. We'll do a little song to lead us into our meditation time.
I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. I'm raising the veil.
Now is the time that we center in to go into the silence together, into meditation. Please make yourselves comfortable, whatever that feels like or looks like for you. Uncross your legs or cross them, whatever feels right. Close your eyes or lower them so that you're focusing on one spot. Let's take a deep breath in. And as we breathe out, we release all unnecessary thoughts. We take another deep breath in and focus on breathing love into our hearts, where that spark of God and love are always present. We breathe love into our hearts. We breathe love out into the world. God is right here in our hearts. God is right here in our hearts. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in our hearts. We raise the veil to be in complete, intimate connection with our God. And as we focus on the love of God, that spark of light shining so brightly in our hearts, we know that every single cell in our body has that same spark of life, intelligence, and love, and shines its light in its very own way. Every cell, every molecule, every atom. Our entire being is filled with the light and love of God. And let's settle into that light and love and be held by it as it easily flows through us, in us, every cell of our being, with us, as us, and out beyond us to all the other molecules in the air around us, and to the light of God in the cells and hearts and souls of every person in this sanctuary, every person beyond this sanctuary, to all beings. We are united. We are one. Let's rest in that flow of light and love. God is right here in our hearts. No separation, no distance at all. Thank you, God, for the gift of this life, of this moment, of this breath. We give thanks for our time of communion with the light of love and life that always burns within and always guides us, that always holds us. As we get ready to come out gently of our meditation and move into the rest of the service, I invite you to notice, are there any people, names, or prayers that might be arising in your hearts or minds? If so, please feel free to share those, either silently or softly. We know that every prayer is heard, every being is loved. We thank you for this time of shared silence. so it is. Amen.
I'm
raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. I want to know you, oh God. I'm raising the veil. I want to see you, oh God. I'm raising the veil. I want to hear you, oh God. I'm raising the veil. I want to feel you, oh God. I'm raising the veil. I want to praise you, oh God. I'm raising the veil. I want to love you, oh God. I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. I'm raising the veil.
Good morning, Kathleen. That was perfectly timed, Kathleen. Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day. This is the day that God has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I was talking to Roger earlier this week, and he said, back when Johnny Carson had a show, his trademark was a golf swing. And how that wonderful refrain, what day is it today? This is the day the Lord has made, is so Reverend Crystal's golf swing, or her signature. And it brings her into our hearts. So I'm delighted this morning to have a chance to experiment and explore with you, and to share with you what I've been exploring for the last couple weeks. I've had a working title for today's message called Awakening 2. It all started several weeks ago when we had our last service with Reverend Crystal as our senior minister, and we celebrated her and her rich ministry with us, and we released her to go out into the world and follow that nudge that she had, just as Reverend Jim had a nudge that took him out into the world to a new place. That ritual of release and celebration also marked a significant beginning and transition for us as a community. We too have embarked on a new time of growth and change and mystery. In our ceremony, we spoke of those who stay as we who stay. And we could feel in that moment that we who stay are the church. Reverend Jim taught us that years ago. And I didn't believe him at first. I had implored him to please stay forever. And he said, no, I won't. And this church will need more and other people. But you, the people of the church, You are the church. And that is so true. I know from speaking with different members of our congregation, ever since Reverend Crystal announced that she was going to be leaving, that this time of change means different things to different people. And it ranges from gratitude to loss, to sadness, to joy, to celebration, to a reaffirmation of trust in the universe, whatever it may bring, even as we surrender to the total mystery of that. As Reverend Rogers said in his message a couple weeks ago, we know nothing. I think that was the title of his speech, I Know Nothing. Okay. We are always in the mystery, even when we have the illusion of having set schedules and our day looks like it's ordered a certain way. In fact, we are always in the middle of mystery, unfolding in ways that we may have no understanding about and may not even be able to perceive. So we are in the mystery in this moment. We are in the right place at the right time in the right way. And yet even in this time of mystery, I know that we can all feel at times that constant flow of presence and guidance flowing through us, maybe flying through us too. As I've been thinking about this time of change, I've been called to spend some time really looking into our mission statement. What does it mean? And what might we make of it to make sure that it really serves us as we go forward? Will it really serve us as we go forward? Or is it just a cluster of nice words? So I've spent the last couple weeks reading into it, feeling into it, savoring, questioning it, kind of pushing into it, dance hammering it. And right off the bat, I realized something surprising. Every Sunday, we have the mission statement on our walls, and we say it together. And I realized that I had fallen into an almost automatic pattern of repetition without really opening my heart and letting the words come in and find their place. I love the words, I love the ideas, but I wasn't personally getting a whole lot of juice for the squeeze because I wasn't taking the time to let it soak in and change me. So I had a hunch for a long time that mission statement, which came up through us, has much more power and potential for me personally and for us as a congregation than perhaps we've realized before. And that this time, as we are setting sail through these waters of change, may be a perfect time to see what does it really have to offer us. So my question as I looked into this, as I just said, was, is this just a great cluster of words put together by some good wordsmiths? Or can it really provide clarity and deep inspiration for us as individuals and as a congregation as we move forward? So spoiler alert, at the end of the day, I can tell you that after much digging and savoring and feeling into it, I actually felt a slow awakening inside to a different and deeper understanding of the doorway and the pathway that this mission statement can take us to if we let it. So I've begun to build a much more conscious personal relationship with the words of our mission. And I've been using it as a daily affirmation for the last couple of weeks. And my affirmation is either I choose to awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service, or I am awakening to and embracing the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service. And that's been remarkably powerful for me. Even as I say it now, I can feel a certain kind of vibration starting up in me. My sense as of this morning is that just as these words have taken on a very powerful meaning for me as I've engaged in a much more personal relationship with them, that for us as a church, they may serve as an ever brighter beacon, like a lighthouse's beacon, or a guiding star for us as we sail our ship forward. So I want to share with you some of the things that I've noticed. Jerry, can you put the slide up? So we're only going to talk about part of this. We're going to talk about divine essence, awaken to and embrace. There's a lot to be said about prayer and service, but it's not going to be said by me today, okay? So as you know, our mission is grounded in awakening to divine essence of all things. And I think of divine essence as spirit, as the great mystery, as God, or as some of you may use different words, Jehovah, Creator. Frank Fool's Crow called it the Big Holy, which I really love. However you name it, that's really what we're talking about. And in my message with you this morning, I'm going to be talking about it as divine essence, or spirit, or God. If you have another word that speaks to you for that being, that presence, please feel free to substitute that for my words. As we focus on divine essence, I'm going to ask you to take this moment to gently close your eyes and just breathe in the words and let them land. Divine essence. Divine essence. Always with us. Always flowing to us and through us. As us. Let's breathe that in. Let's take in divine essence as a vibrant life force, pure light, unconditional love of God. What does that feel like? Do you feel anything? If you don't, can you imagine what it can feel like to take that in and expand our hearts into the light and love of divine essence? While your eyes are still closed, please take a moment to experiment with me. It's an experiment in unconditional love. See if you can pull up a moment in your life where you felt unconditional love, where you either gave unconditional love to someone or something you cherished. I'm looking at that little baby in our first pew. That's when I was most aware of what unconditional love is looking at a baby in my arms. Or whether it's an animal, a pet, a dog, a cat, a bird, a tree, a flower, that you may have felt unconditional love. What is that feeling in your body? Can you feel that vibration? Or were you lucky enough to have a time when you felt like someone loved you unconditionally? What does that feel like? Be with that feeling for a moment, please. And if you can't pull up a memory of that, let your imagination go wild. Let it imagine what that might feel like, to unconditionally love something with all of your heart, or to be loved in that way, where it doesn't matter whether you brushed your hair or brushed your teeth or behaved yourself. You are totally loved. Now, while your eyes are still closed, and hopefully you're feeling or surrendering to either the imagined experience of unconditional love or a real memory of it, let that sensory experience of unconditional love merge, integrate with your sense, your perception of divine essence that flows in you. Let them just merge together so that you're feeling unconditional love emanating from that divine essence inside. Can you sense or imagine how amazing it is to be filled with the awareness that you are unconditionally loved and you feel unconditionally loving? That's divine essence. What would it be like on a daily basis, an hourly basis, to always feel that emanating unconditional love, light and life force coming from divine essence? And to be aware of that exact same divine essence shining through every other being we encounter. Wouldn't that be incredible? Well, that's a reality that we can choose in this moment and in any other moment that we open our hearts and our minds to it. So feel free to open your eyes if they're not already. Speaking of the experience of divine essence, I know that many in our congregation have had their own unique experiences of it. And I would love at some point to create a talking stick circle one night, maybe around a fire, and have people share the moments in which they were aware that divine essence was in full bloom or at play in them. That will expand all of us, and I think amaze a lot of us. I too have had some pretty low-key but very sweet experiences with my sense of divine essence, and most recently it showed up one morning as I woke up, and I just felt a little different. There was a little bit more of a spring to my step, and I thought, oh, that's nice. What's going on in there? And I didn't realize until a little bit later that morning that I was walking in love. I was seeing with eyes of love. And that to me is what I think of as God. I hadn't been intending it. I've always wanted to feel that way. I've always thought how beautiful it would be to see the world with eyes of love. And that's how I was seeing it. Even when I went into work and I met somebody who is normally a real irritant to me, and I'm sure I'm a real irritant to her. We are a mutually beneficial gift to each other. And I felt a little spark of irritation, and suddenly it dissolved. And I just felt this warm wash of love inside, and I suddenly felt my heart wrap around her and me and hold us together. And I felt shockingly tender and loving toward her. That is a miracle, ladies and gentlemen. And in that moment, I knew that I was in the grace of divine essence. I was experiencing something that could always be there if I just am open and lucky. So that kind of experience of walking with eyes of love or in love made me really itchy to look at how do we awaken to that. Have any of you ever experienced that some kind of sense of grace or divine essence flowing through you? You have? Yeah. And have you ever also experienced the seesaw phenomenon? The phenomenon of feeling lit up by this wondrous presence, only to come crashing down into the busyness of life and mundane patterns, and you have too much on your plate to think about divine essence. Have you ever had that seesaw experience? Yeah, me too. I mean, I wrestle with that all the time. And that's one of the gifts for me of this terrifying experience of talking to you this morning, because it's given me a chance to put away other things and really focus on what to me is one of my biggest yearnings in life, which is to awaken to and embrace that divine essence in myself and in other people. Now, I take some comfort in the fact that even the most highly spiritual people, remarkable shamans, monks, even the mystics, the saints, they all have this seesaw phenomenon. We are constantly in a state of change, ebb and flow. And so our challenge is, how do we keep recovering to that place of awakening to? What awakens us, and how do we keep coming back to awakening to that vibrant awareness of divine essence? So it seems, as I've thought about it, that there is many ways to awaken to as there are beings on this planet. There are those big awakenings that we've heard about, those of the kind that the Buddha had when he attained enlightenment. A lot of the mystic saints. I've been studying Catherine of Siena recently, and when she was a little girl, she had this mystical, ecstatic experience of Jesus that stayed with her forever and changed her life. And Eckhart Tolle has written extensively and talked a lot about how he has gone through periods of deep depression and anxiety, and one morning he woke up and he was in a state of bliss and in a state of love. Those are big awakenings. I've never had a big awakening like that. But what I found is that there are lots of other less dramatic, but still very significant awakenings that allow each one of us to find our way to awakening to and experience that flow of divine essence. One path is through prayer, of course. And for those of us who are raised in the Catholic tradition or the more traditional religious ways of praying to God and saying, okay, God, I need you. Please, dear God. I've bargained with God. I learned how to bargain with God as a kid growing up. I heard about how Danny Thomas had begged God to heal his daughter or his son, who was very ill. And if God did, Danny would build a hospital in honor of him, which he did. So that's a kind of a revered Catholic example of what can happen with God. Well, what I've learned through Unity is a very different kind of prayer, which we all know, which to me feels much more true. And it's not about getting God to bend to our way and to give us what we want. It's for us to align our mind, our heart, and our soul with the mind of God and the heart of God. Eric Butterworth is always my go-to person. And he writes in The Universe is Calling, prayer is not trying to reach God or inform God or tell God all about your troubles. It is to know God as the infinite resource within and to expand our self-realization. God doesn't have what we need. God is what we need. Oof. Makes awakening too even more compelling. So other paths to awakening too, it's coming to worship together. Being with others in meditation or in prayer can be incredibly powerful. Or to come together to study truth teachings, trying discernment, meditation, music. So many times with our musicians, I am moved to a place of awakening to the God within. Dance, service to others, times of nature, even being fully present to those moments of joy or grief or sorrow. In those moments, the outer layers, the veils are lifted and the heart is revealed in its most vulnerable. And very often that's where awakening to the divine essence happens. All these different paths are just different ways of raising the veil and opening our hearts and being one with God. So, along with awakening to, when we were discerning what our mission statement should be, the word embrace came in. Now that's a very interesting word. And I hadn't realized until the last couple of weeks as I've been walking with this mission statement how powerful that little word is. We all know what it means to embrace. But I found it particularly interesting to see that even when I looked in the dictionary, it made clear to me how powerful this is. When we embrace to bring things close to us, to our heart, as a sign of affection or love. Now that's the dictionary definition. What I found is that when I realized that we weren't just awakening to, because awakening to can be a pretty superficial thing. Oh, I'm awakened to. Hello there, divine essence. Gotta go. See you later. That could be awakening to. But if we awaken to and then embrace, we're bringing it in close to our hearts. I don't know if you can feel that. I can feel that right now. It's so powerful. So I want you to kind of picture that for a moment. And as I bring my arms to my chest, you know, the way that I would if I were hugging someone or something else that I love, and I'm just treasuring the divine essence that is always present there. I feel as though we are becoming the sanctuary in our song. We are raising the veil. We are one. We're one with divine essence. Now, as I say that, I also have to confess that I realized that there's an inside job piece to this. I learned that when I've been reciting this with you all in our services, it's awakening to and embracing the divine essence of all beings, I was instantly thinking of all of you and all other beings. And it dawned on me last week, hey, Heather, you actually are part of all beings as well. And maybe the first step is about awakening to and embracing the divine essence within you. And each one of us awakening to and embracing the divine essence within us. So that then we can really awaken to and embrace the divine essence in all beings in a way that is unity, in a way that is namaste, that allows the divine within us to bow to and see the divine in everyone else. So it's time to move on to the service, but before we do that, I have 3 quick things I just want to share with you. First, I want to invite you, this is a loving invitation or loving challenge, to consider building a more personal relationship with the mission to awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service. If you haven't already done that, I invite you to try to personalize it by either putting your own words in front of it. I choose to awaken to, I yearn to awaken to, I long to awaken to, I intend to awaken to, I am awakening to and embracing. And try that on even as a daily affirmation or throughout the day and see what that might bring for you. How does that land for you? Does that expand you? Does that make you more aware of this constant presence, a divine essence within? Second, as I mentioned during my spoiler alert, I really believe, after a couple weeks of dancing with our mission statement and feeling into it, that it is about as inspiring and powerful a tool as we could possibly want, as bright and strong a beacon, our guiding star, as we could possibly want as we sail together through these times of change. And last and not least, I'd like to share the affirmation that's come out of this experimentation with our mission. Let's say together, today, I choose to awaken to and embrace my divine essence and the divine essence of all beings. Let's close our eyes, and I'm going to say it to you, and then we'll say it one more time together. Today, I choose to awaken to and embrace my divine essence and the divine essence of all beings. Let's say that together one last time. Today, I choose to awaken to and embrace the divine essence and the divine essence of all beings. And so it is. Thank you. You are just about the best audience in the universe. Oh, thank you. So I think I need to get down so you can get up. Is that right? Okay.
don't want to run you over.
All right. Reverend John Frederick asks me to let you know that the flowers today are in honor of his mother, whose name is Rosemary. Right. Get in there.
my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. It's all light. I am 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 divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
What did I say about our music ministry being the source to awakening to? Oh, thank you. Now we're going to move into our time of offering. Let's say our offertory statement together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are blessed to know that Spirit is our source. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, and so it is. Amen.
So the words Satnam are very much like the word Namaste. Seeing the divine in one another. In particular, Satnam really refers to the truth with a capital T, and witnessing that in one another. So Satnam, the grace within you.
Satnam, the grace within you shines through you forevermore. Satnam, the
thank you, Mother, Father, God. We take this moment to raise the chi. For some of us, we rub our hands together and remember the life essence within us, streaming through us and showing up in these beautiful baskets as well as in the incredible music ministry of this church. We thank you for the gifts of love that have been given here and donated today. May they all have been given from a place of joy and from a place of feeling the unconditional love and power and light and life of God flowing through. We thank you for these gifts and for all the gifts that show up through this amazing ministry at Unity Church in Albany. And so it is. Amen.
And what's happening this evening at 6:30?
Joyful noise.
Joyful noise. So a special version of one song, actually. Don't miss if you can help it. Don't miss it if you can, as a friend of mine used to say. And we're hoping it's a big success because we'd like to have them back after they do this tonight. So join hands. Come to the center and join hands. You too, Isabella.
Come on up, everybody.
Go.
There was a time in my life, thought I'd have to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. Now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
And as our musicians come on down to join us, let's share our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen. Oh, thank